Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today we've claimed pretty much every other planet in the Expanse, so why not Euphrates too? Though it would seem that there might be a few folks who'd have some minor objections to that. It's fine though, we're about to go kill them. Ah, and there's our orbital battle. Let's see what we got. The Rogue Trader's ship took its place in the center of the attack formation. The right flank was guarded by the sacred combat vessels of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and the left consisted of the combined forces gathered by the Lord Inquisitor, headed by a frigate of the indomitable Space Wolves. The enemy deployed their ships in a wide arc in an attempt to surround the squadron, but the heretics' plan was not meant to be. Thorvald and Opticon 22 sent their detachments forward, tying up the enemy in combat and presenting the Lord Captain with a chance to deliver a blow to the very heart of the enemy position, where the flagships of these traitors to humanity awaited their final hour. Indeed, we'll leave them strewn across the stars. Oh, wow, really? Just one? I mean, granted, it is a blasphemous Styx-class heavy cruiser, but still. 3-1 hardly seems sporting. We'll just assume there are going to be multiple waves. Keep our distance. Let the Heartless move in first, draw fire. Can we push them off? They might be too big for that. Oh, yeah, immune to twist. Fair enough. Alright, Heartless, it's all you. Also, I guess Sword is backing you up, so, you know, good luck with that. You know, someone mentioned this is apparently Sword 13. So, we've lost a dozen frigates. At least the Heartless seems to know how to handle itself. Honestly, I wouldn't mind one of those Drukhari shields myself. Alright guys, maybe don't fly through the giant field of corrupting hellfire. That does feel like it might be your one main weakness here. Alright. RetconRaider, hard right, coming in hot. Let's hope this sticks. Nice, nice. We're already through their starboard shields. Now, the mag guns, then we'll go for a second salvo. Wow, they better get some reinforcements in here or this is going to be a very short fight. Rear shields 8, salvo 2, but we're in pretty good shape, I think. Sword coming round. Oof. Heartless eating some fire. Hang in there, guys. You got this. Fighter squad out.
Strike them now.
Yeah, just get behind us. We'll take it from here. Coming up on round 3. Wow, and no new ships. Okay. Let's take this guy out, see what happens.
Lance batteries, volley!
Rear shields out. Oh, that's kind of tricky. And Chaos Carrier out. But we've still got some fighters in the mix, so let's ding them up too. Thanks, guys. Nice. There we go. And still no reinforcement, so I think this is it.
Fire at will.
Actually, bootleg reverse. Nice. Hey, level up. Not that we really need it, but we'll take it. Which clears the blockade. But let's go ahead and get that level up taken care of. Oh, yeah, not much left to choose from. Honestly, kind of makes me wonder what happens if we do get to that level cap, since we've got 6 slots and only 4 things to fill them with. But for now, we'll go ahead and buff up our torpedo salvos. Not really much to write home about, but certainly better than nothing. Honestly, might be better off just switching off to fighters at this point. We're not getting a ton of mileage out of those torpedoes anymore. But that's something for a future retcon to worry about. For now, we've got a ground to assault. Sector, Coronis Expanse. Region, Mundus Valancia System. Location, Dargonis. Palace of the Lord General Militant. Material, extract from the memoirs, When the Expanse Burned. Author, Corvin Lazarus, Lord General Militant of the Dargonis Planetary Defense Garrison. A general once said that all wars are fundamentally the same. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. Grok shit. That general didn't witness the events on Euphrates II. Rogue trader Valen von Valancius was the supreme commander in that battle. The man of iron will, unfaltering, unshakable. I served in his personal enforcer guard back then, just another cocky kid who thought he was an expert soldier. The Emperor was gracious to me. He gave me a chance to realize just how wrong I was. Most of my comrades didn't get a chance like that. The shuttles would have blocked out the sun if you could have seen it through the smoke of the manufactorum city of Sigma S-13. At its heart stood the Machine Cathedral, our primary objective. The Lord Captain showed us mercy by having the landing zone bombarded from orbit. All the shuttles carrying troops and, more importantly, precious vehicles reached their destination. Daunted by our numbers, the enemy withdrew. That was the perfect moment for a decisive attack. With an armored vehicle force of this size, we had the upper hand. Upon descending from orbit, Sister Argenta inspired the troops with the very first notes of her prayers. Her singing was the Emperor's voice, commanding us to fight without any regard for our own lives. After rousing the soldiers to launch a daring raid, she quickly captured one of the heretics' commanders. That was when we heard a starkly different voice coming from the Sister of Battle. Trembling with fury, she personally interrogated the miscreant, pulling one poisoned confession after another out of him. Once she was done, the world was purged of his impure breath, and she was the one wielding the flamer. The sight of that heretic writhing in flames was imprinted upon our memories, shining a light on the cruel darkness of our immediate future, like a brilliant beacon. In the command center, the Lord Captain ordered his generals to deliver a tactical report to the officers. As ever, the Lord Captain craved precious context. The best breakthrough point into Manufactorum Sigma S-13 was receiving Dock Mu 514, one of the oldest parts of the city whose fortifications and defense systems were starting to show their age. Every approach to it was covered in traps. Atomic mines, mechanical mayhem collars, skin-rending arch-viruses. But we were ready to advance, taking sector after sector, even if it meant throwing our bodies at whatever the enemy had in store for us. The commander ordered us to proceed with caution, with the full support of comprehensive area recon. We were commanded to prepare our auspexes and commence the assault. We consigned our lives to small green vid screens and their machine spirits. Whenever we avoided another one of the enemy's traps and ambushes, we would then voxcast their coordinates to the artillery gunners, while our comrades rained thunder and lightning upon the heads of those skulking whoresons. We gave the Emperor's peace to the rest, making slow but steady progress toward the city walls. Pushing through the ruins of sacred workshops, we looked with awe upon machines that, up until that point, had remained forbidden to the eyes of the laity. Those were palaces of incredible and frightening technology. Void ship assembly halls, alchemical atriums, sacred arsenals, generators producing invisible fields unsettling to the mind, and scriptoriums containing knowledge of horrors best left undiscovered. In one of the chemical chapels, we came upon a shipment of cisterns containing hallucinogenic gas. The tech priests protested that the substance was not designed for warfare, that it was created for higher rituals, but the officers wasted no time pumping our artillery shells full of that gas. At last we reached the gates of Dock Mu 514, the threshold of the metal nightmare that was Manufactorum Sigma S13. However, the initial attempts to storm the dock shattered against the enemy's defenses. Magos Dominus Opticon 22 proposed a tech sabotage. He could send small Skitarii units behind the enemy lines and have them subdue the spirits of the area's defense systems. Thorvald, the fierce leader of the Space Wolves, proposed to send infiltrators beyond the walls to kill enemy officers and weaken the dock's defenses. The Lord Captain ordered the regiments to provide the reasons as to why the first assault had failed, so that the second might have better chance to succeed. The influence of the ruinous powers had corrupted and twisted Dock Mu 514 beyond recognition. Many potential approaches were blocked by walls of flesh fused with metal and anomalies that bent reality around them. Hundreds of possessed machines assembled on Euphrates II rose against us. The enemy was expecting us to strike, and we needed to disrupt their defenses before attacking. Okay, well, I mean, if it's just straight up supernatural stuff, I don't see how tech sabotage is going to get us through. The Lord Captain commanded the Space Wolves forward. The Space Wolves entered the city undetected, and reaped a bloody harvest there. None could hide from those fierce and cunning warriors. The infiltrators killed one officer after another, sowing panic and disarray amongst the enemy. The bodies were impaled on spikes so that the heretics could see their commanders from afar. Once the mayhem had reached its peak, the Space Wolves demolished the turrets, opened the gates, and gave the signal to attack. The dock was ours. It took us many days to break through to the metal heart of the Manufactorum. In the third week of the assault, the vanguard was halted and swept away by a salvo of plasma macro cannons. Scorning every cannon of sacred engineering, the heretics had placed the hull of an unfinished void cruiser on treads several kilometers long. This leviathan of adamantine and plasteel barred our way. Magos Dominus Opticon 22 insisted that we retake the sacred machine, for the vessel had been in the making for many decades, and its destruction would have meant a great tragedy for the Imperium. It came as a surprise to all when the Space Wolf Thorvald supported the Magos Dominus. After the Lord Captain had reconciled him with the Explorator leader, Thorvald had tamed his pride and spoke in favor of the Tech Priest's cause of liberating the noble machine. Nice. So of course we will retake it, but first, the Lord Captain sent scouts to assess the fearsome weapon. The sight was both terrifying and mesmerizing. A majestic cathedral that was designed to cut through the void was instead resting on treads of a size that staggered the imagination. Those treads were grinding buildings into dust, and the ship's heavy cannons were incinerating entire tank formations. How could mere mortals hope to defeat a behemoth like that? Thankfully, the Lord Captain had some ideas. He sent forth the Tech Priests and the Space Wolves to reclaim control of the sacred machine. Having the sacred machine on our side could have given our offensive a sizable edge. Our orders were to get a landing force to the cruiser's bridge and escort the engine seers to the main cogitator. Our shuttles used the turret's blind spot to deploy elite troops on board the cruiser. While they were engaged with the shrieking heretics, The engineers reasoned with the machine spirits of the main cogitator and initiated the blessed purgation protocol on the inner decks. It took us 3 days to drag every last cultist corpse out of the compartments. Slipping on pools of blood mixed with sacred unguents, we made it to the machine cathedral, a gargantuan hall breathing with the flames of 1,000 furnaces. The last bastion of the enemy army. That was where I first faced the word-bearers, betrayers of humanity and unworthy sons of the Emperor. What could we, mere humans, possibly do to match their unholy, bestial rage? Oh, right, we had a void ship-sized tank. He ordered us to use that. There is no greater pleasure in war than turning the enemy's own weapons against them. Chaos Marines are stronger than an army of ordinary troops, but even they cannot survive a direct hit from a macro cannon. The cruiser's weapons tracked their targets well, and no armor could protect them from shots like that. The Leviathan's treads rolled over the enemy defenses, decimating the contemptible word-bearers, and bringing us great triumph. And that's when it came. Doomscream, an ancient and bloodthirsty hellbrute, a merciless executioner forged from adamantine and ceramite. That single foe was repelling our assaults one after the other, turning hundreds of soldiers into a bloody pulp. For as long as that abomination lived, we had no hope of reaching the heart of the enemy citadel. The dire-eyed Thorvald volunteered to track down and destroy the vile spawn. But fate had other things in store for him and his brothers. The Space Wolves pack was to be the first to storm the Machine Cathedral, and thus Magos Dominus Opticon 22 assembled a cohort of elite Skitarii and said that he would locate and eliminate Doomscream. The soldiers were whispering that he was willing to activate the so-called Guaranteed Annihilation Protocol, a terrible and ominous rite that is as lethal to the enemies of the Omnissiah as it is to his faithful servants. But upon arriving at the front lines, the Lord Captain... Oh boy, that doesn't look great. Questioned the survivors who had witnessed the ruin that Doomscream had wrought. Those lucky enough to have escaped with their lives had little to tell us. They remembered a terrible howl hanging in the air, and a death machine impossibly quick for its size, dismembering people in crumpling tanks with its horrific manipulators. This enemy was ancient, devious, and utterly mad. The heretic's mind was clouded by rage and hatred, and his body was bound within a prison of metal and mutated flesh. The Lord Captain thought long and hard on his options. But, ultimately, deciding he was unwilling to sacrifice Opticon 22, he took this burden upon himself. There were no guarantees of success, but then again, there never were. Not even for a rogue trader. And yet, there with the grace of the Emperor he went. Rifle in hand, retinue in tow, to hunt the ancient killing machine himself. Nice. What happened next would become legend. The Lord Captain at the head of his retinue challenged the bloodlusting heresiarch that had crawled out of the darkness of time. He dealt the wicked executioner a heavy and mortifying blow, and thus Doomscream was routed. The abomination's torn pincer, fitted with an ancient and powerful bolter, became the rogue trader's rightful trophy. At long last, we reached the Machine Cathedral. We saw a yawning lift shaft left behind by a colossal land-gnawing drill that had burrowed for kilometers into the depths of the planet. There, deep below, lay the last hiding place of the heretics' leaders. Hundreds of grenades, accompanied by promises of swift judgment, were hurled into the pit. Such was our righteous anger. The planetary assault was a resounding success. The enemy forces were shattered and broken. A small fraction remained in the Machine Cathedral, but the rest either had been destroyed or were destined to meet the same inevitable fate soon. The Lord Captain's retinue and the Space Wolves band delved into the shaft, heading toward the heart of the Machine Cathedral. We watched them leave with reverence in our eyes as we were setting up a perimeter around the entrance. We knew that the true outcome of the Battle of Euphrates II depended on them, and that our fates were theirs to decide. Whew, goodness, that was a much longer event than I was anticipating. I would not have tried to do a gravel voice if I'd realized it was going to be like 20 pages long. But hey, aside from that, it certainly worked out in our favor. Void tank acquired, Opticon presumably alive, and we even silenced Doomscream. Not too shabby. Let's keep this ball rolling. Conrad and Uralon await. And yeah, we'll tag Heinrichs in on this one. I do hope he gets a bit more actively involved in the story at some point. He's been pretty silent thus far, but I have to imagine he'll get more vocal once Ashara inevitably makes her move. Plus, I suppose he does have a bit of a history with the Cult of the Final Dawn. Dude deserves some closure. May the energies of the Immaterium flow into the core of this mechanism. May the gears resume turning. May the batteries be charged. I assume that was the general gist of what I was just saying. The giant, clad in dark crimson armor, is in the middle of a sinister litany, his words turning into a repulsive, ethereal stench, and flakes of otherworldly ice. He does not notice your presence. The same cannot be said about Conrad Voigtbeer, who stands at his side. His completely mutated turquoise eyes flash upon seeing you. He flinches but remains silent, hesitant to interrupt the ritual. Yeah, I've got to say, bud, not really looking great there. You can feel the strings of the surreal force emanating from the sorcerer's fingers and wrapping around the enormous disc of the drill. He is feeding its sacred batteries with his profane magic, as if it were the motive force, subjugating the tech priest's creation to his will. The sorcerer does not turn his head as his voice rolls over the room. I see you, mortal thing. I sense your meek mind. The sorcerer reluctantly turns his burning gaze upon you. So, you are the one who was so eager to meet me and your own demise? Rejoice, Brother Twilight. Today, you become the new rogue trader. Voigtbeer's deformed features twist into a bloodthirsty smile. Yes, Master. I will rectify my mistake and reclaim what was stolen. Yeah, I'm sure you will. The platform beneath the sorcerer's feet is the drilling machine's massive tunneling shield. This mighty mechanism can gnaw through underground rock, bunker bulkheads reinforced with adamantine, or anything else that may lurk in the planet's depths. The corrupted servants of the Deus Mechanicus scuttle around the heretic, muttering twisted prayers of ignition in attempts to persuade the Omnissiah's majestic beast to awaken and rend the world's flesh. So I know we met before, but could you remind me what your name is? It'd be nice to have it for my list of exploits. If I just put you down as heretic, you'll get mixed up with all the others. You know my name well. I am Uralon the Cruel, breaker of misbelievers, truth speaker, triumphator of faith, dark apostle of the blessed Word-Bearer's Legion. Kneel and offer a prayer of gratitude, for your death could not bear a worthier name. Are you like 1,000,000% sure about that? Because I feel like we tore through your armies pretty easy on the way in here. Death for the glory of the true gods is a blessed fate for any believer, so why would I rob them of it? Every martyr who perishes in their name only empowers their reign. I was tasked with a different mission, to make the Coronis Expanse behold the sheer impotence of its most eminent protector. Once Calcazar's treasure has been stolen, his secret hoards plundered, and his name shamed, the dogs of the false emperor will see the truth. No one will protect them. No one will heed their pleas. Only by bowing to the masters of the Immaterium will they earn the right to live. You know, I've had my suspicions about the Lord Inquisitor. I'd love to know what's down there. Care to share? No. I will keep this from you so that you may perish in the darkness of ignorance. Pathetic. Your master didn't even tell you the reason why he sent you to face your death. And neither will I make this poisoned cup any easier to drink. Okay, I mean, I'm still going to check after you're dead. Or you could tell me now, and maybe I'll be all soul-crushed like you were just saying that I would be, if I found out. I sure do hate having my soul crushed. Very well. Kneel and pledge yourself to the true gods of the warp, for great revelations are a reward for the faithful. He gestures at you imperiously. Thorvald nods at his weapon. I doubt you intend to obey, but I will still advise against it. Yeah, thanks, Thorvald. I wasn't planning on it. And how about you, Voitvir? How are you doing down there? You haven't really said much, but I guess being a consummate lackey doesn't really give you much opportunity to speak. Anything you'd like to say? Voitvir cocks his head sharply like a bird and laughs mockingly. I am on a path to greatness, Valen. True power, of the kind you and Theodora could only dream of. The edge of daybreak promised to weave me a truly remarkable fate. I mean, I hate to say it, but you're not wrong. You are guaranteed a pretty spectacular fate. In fact, it's almost upon you. Just hang tight. I'll be down to deliver it momentarily. Trust me, it's been a long time coming. An empty threat. I have the upper hand this time. In my next prayer to the Dark Gods, I will thank them for letting me destroy another rogue traitor of the Von Valancius line. I mean, you didn't even destroy the first one, but sure. If only you knew what powerful weapon awaits us down below. With it, we will make the entire expanse. Enough, Brother Twilight. Your lips will not speak a word more than it is a heathen's place to hear. Ignorance is their cloister. Let them remain trapped there. You guys are no fun. Alright, Thorvald, I'm done gathering intel. You know what to do. The wolf lets out a chilling howl, and his pack ready their weapons, acknowledging it as an unequivocal order to kill. With a solemn gesture of his hands, Urlon thunders in fury. Let those who blaspheme against the true gods beg forgiveness in vain. Let their lips be sealed. Let their hands be severed. Let their souls be reaped and scourged. To battle, wolves! Do not allow the Malefic any respite! Ah, a glorious fight awaits. Take heed with the silver-tongued traitor, for he is old, sly, and strong. But by the All-Father, the wolves will spill rivers of his blood today. The horrific display of profane sorcery appears to have filled Thorvald with joy and anticipation, rather than fear. An old friend of yours, I take it. Surprised you let him live? Ah! No, or else his head wouldn't still be attached to his neck. But my pack has heard plenty about his strength and ignominious misdoings. One can see the evidence of his malefactions all across the Coronis expanse, like bear tracks upon fresh snow. We stalked him and looked for a chance to clamp our jaws around his throat. But the craven knows well how to hide behind the backs of his heretical lackeys. Any idea what he's trying to do back there? He wished to wake the tunneling behemoth. If you hunger for my thoughts, Uralon is searching for something down below, in the Manufactorum's deepest halls. My warriors destroyed the energy fount and silenced the drill, but the detestable Malefic still found a way to revive it with his heinous magics. Another blasphemy. There are too many to count now. Pascal's dry voice is rattling like a heavy vehicle's chain track. His visor lights up a blinding green, then blue, and you hear a metallic moan coming from everywhere. It is as though the Manufactorum itself is being tortured. Any idea what he's after? He said it belonged to Kalkazar. Do not ask, for I do not know myself. Kalkazar treats his allies like a Fenrisian mushroom farmer treats his produce. He keeps them in the dark and feeds them shit. He didn't see fit to enlighten us about the secrets of Euphrates, too. But 'tis no matter. Whatever it is, we mustn't let the loathsome Malefic claim it. Right, I'm on it. You're a brave one, and not easily deterred. Good. Then find a way to reach the tunneling platform while we give the mangy sorcerer something to worry about. Thorvald exchanges glances with his warriors, and you could swear they are all smiling in anticipation inside their helmets. Halbrand, you stick to the original plan. Take 2 brothers and go after Doomscream. Our scouts report that he took refuge in these depths after being defeated in battle on the approach to the Machine Cathedral. I want to take the unholy tin can that holds his traitorous brain back to Fenris. Good hunting. We won't fail you. The eager Space Marine lets out a hungering howl. Proudly tread the hunter's grim, in chase of a beast of steel and blood, fangs bared sharp in thirst of prey. Let glory cloak their mighty gait. Doomscream. He hides in this den? Step aside, Halbrand. I will be the one to slay it. I claim this quarry for the baleful howl. Doomscream. Yeah, that's the oversized toy soldier I disarmed on the way in. Didn't seem like much of a threat to me, but I suppose you're right. That's a loose end we shouldn't leave hanging around. Aye, he's an old and vicious heretic. A hellbrute whose veins boil with poisonous rage and savagery. His mind and body have been so warped by the ruinous powers that his very existence is an affront to the All-Father's warriors. Tread lightly when facing him, young brother. Yes, the beast is mad and hideous, but he is with Almighty, old and graced with the archenemy's profane patronage. His hateful sermons abound with malefictions, and his weapon claimed the lives of hundreds during the assault. We grievously wounded him, true, but we haven't seen the last of this foe. Well, I mean, I'm the one who sent him packing, so it kind of feels like I'm the one who should put him down, but say Ulfar there claims the kill. Would you consider that proof that the baleful howl yet lives? If it comes to pass, I will be the first to raise a cup to the proud name of that ferocious pack. You heard the man, Ulfar. Let's get this done. Do you seek to best me in hunting, Ulfar Everlost? None are faster or deadlier than the storm biters. We will see, young wolf. We will see. Luck be with you, warriors. Hedorus, Valen. Indeed. And level up. Last one of the game. We have now officially hit cap. Surprised there was no achievement for that. And yeah, let's go ahead and knock that out real quick. As we saw last time, there is literally no choice to be made here. It is just +1 AP. One last power up for the road. Bit of a shame, really. I wouldn't have minded filling out more of our perk lists. Not, I suppose, that we really need it. And let's have a look around. We don't have time for much more, but we can at least get a peek at our immediate surroundings. The screen displays the elevator shutdown diagram. There are 2 devices that prevent the machine from functioning. Right? The sounds of fierce fighting reach your ears. Very minor cargo. The lockers are full of work overalls, robes, and tools that are covered in seals and emit the strong scent of sacred unguents. Completely useless cargo. Oh, lore object. The 16 Universal Laws, the Warnings. Which actually sounds kind of familiar. Also, I notice it's not popping up as new. Though we do have Unhallowed Bellow, a sadly completely useless heretical heavy bolter. This abominable weapon once adorned the hand of the Hellbrute, known as Doomscream, the heinous champion of the Wordbearers Legion. The monster's hand was severed in the heat of battle, and the remains of the corrupted bolter were used to forge a new, more compact weapon. The malevolent spirit dwelling within this dark relic demands that the sacred unguents used to appease it must be mixed with the fresh blood of innocence. Really nice debuff effect. Sadly, completely useless to us. Not even as cargo, since we don't need range weaponry. And as for the lore object... Yeah, look at that. It is indeed one that we picked up before. I'm going to guess back on Kiava Gamma. So I guess we'll just ignore it.
What is that?
Secret doors, but seems like the opening mechanism's on the far side. So nothing we can access just yet. We'd have to go around the long way. Which looks like it would take us right into our first fight. So sadly, I think this is where we're going to have to call it. Still though, very, very fun session.
Let us not dawdle.
We had a space battle, we had that extended book event. We encountered a few old familiar faces. plot seeds planted over 100 episodes ago finally coming to fruition. I am curious if Conrad or Uralon will end up actually making it into Act 5, or if this is where their story ends. Since, honestly, it really does feel like they're setting Inquisitor Calcazar up to be our ultimate bad guy. That said, we'll hit the pause button for now, and pick up here next time, as the siege begins in earnest. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Fury V23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Giemza, OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.
What is that?